This is not truly an issue, but there are reasons why it's happening. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the upcoming World Series between the Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies, not featuring one black American player. Notice I said a keyword there, American. I'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. But this is apparently an issue to some people because this would be the first Major League Baseball championship series that does not feature a black American player since 1950. So very long time. We're talking about, 72 years? So that's a long time, but it's not really an issue. And the whole idea of race is not a thing that the MLB has an issue with. Now, let's get to an article. I won't read the entire thing. There's also a video that I won't play because they probably try to strike me or give me a copyright claim. But I'll link to all of this in the description box below, including words from the Houston Astros manager, Dusty Baker, who is obviously black and he is American. But you see the headline here. Astros Dusty Baker says the 2022 World Series having 0 U.S.-born black players, quote, looks bad, unquote, for baseball. Now, let's get to the key of what he said here. Quote, I don't think that's something that baseball should really be proud of, unquote, say Baker, who played 19 Major League Baseball seasons. Quote, it looks bad. It lets people know it didn't take a year or even a decade to get to this point. But there is help on the way. You could tell by the number of African-American #1 draft choices. So he's saying this is a bad thing. It's not a good look for Major League Baseball. But there are, there's black Americans coming into the league from the academies, and it's not going to be this way forever. But people are talking about this is somehow racist, Major League Baseball racist, and all this and that and a third. Bunch of white guys, they don't like black people. But as I've said, and I'm going to come back so you can see me clearly, as I said, Major League Baseball is probably one of the most, if not the most diverse sports leagues in the world. Definitely in the U.S. because check it out. You have, what are other sports? NFL. What's the NFL? Probably about 65, 70% black. Maybe right around that. Maybe a little bit less than that. But it's mostly black and white. And mostly Americans. Some guys may have come from Nigeria when they were kids, first generation immigrants. You're not going to see a lot of Europeans playing NFL football unless you got a kicker or something like that, like Martin Gramatica, or one of these guys with a bunch of X's and Z's in their names. But for the most part, it's mostly American, black and white. Maybe you get an Hispanic person in there. Maybe you get an Asian, maybe mostly black and white and mostly black. And then you go to the NBA, you're going to have mostly black, like 85, maybe 85% black. Now, you may have some guys that are not necessarily American who are black, like, what's a man from the Milwaukee Bucks? Antetokounmpo, but he's, he was raised in Greece, but his parents are Nigerian. He's 7 foot tall, humongous, jump out the gym. Then you have other guys like Ryu Hachimura. I know I butchered that name and I'm sorry, who has Japanese name, was raised in Japan, but he's black. I think his father is Haitian or something like that. But anyway, you have some foreign black players, but mostly it's African-American. And then we're talking about the white guys. You have very few American white guys in the NBA, mostly Europeans. Luka Doncic, who else? Boban, the big 7 foot guy, 7'5", 7'8", however tall he is. That was in the John Wick movies, or the most recent one, John Wick 3. Then you have who else? My man from the Nuggets, I can't think of his name, but you guys know what I'm talking about, Nikola Jokic. And then some of the older guys, Detlef Schrempf from the Sonics back in the day, mostly Europeans. And then you go back to like the Shaq era, Peja Stojakovic, Vlade Divac. Like I say, a lot of these guys have got a bunch of X's and Z's in the name that does not make any sense when you're talking about pronouncing it. Very few American white guys. The last great American white guy that was in the NBA was Larry Bird. You're talking about the 70s and the 80s. Okay. So that's just what it is. Now, is that somehow a problem? Is that really an issue? I don't think it's really an issue. I think it is what it is. Okay. There's no point in making that be a thing other than that's just the reality. These are the best guys that can play. These are the best guys that can go out there and put points on the board. We don't really care about our nationality. Now, we're talking about Major League Baseball. It's very diverse. But the key is that the black guys they have are generally not American. You're talking about Dominicans and Cubans. Maybe some guys from Venezuela, some other parts like some Bahamas, but mostly it's like Dominican, Cuban. Matter of fact, let's go look at some of the rosters, right? Let's look at the rosters. Like, I don't even really got to say too much. Let's look at the rosters of the Houston Astros first. Let's check it out right here. Okay. So you have Brian Abreu. He's a pitcher, and I've heard that name before. And forgive me, I'm not really a baseball fan. I'll talk about that a little bit more, too, about why there's not that many black Americans. But, I mean, I'm not necessarily an aficionado of Major League Baseball. I don't know all these guys, but I've heard that name before. He appears to be a star. Does he appear to be a white guy to you from Nowhereville, USA? I don't think so. Looks black to me. Luis Garcia, black to me. Christian Javier, black to me. Okay. Rafael Montero, Hector Neris. I see a bunch of black guys. What's the problem? Oh, because they're not Framber Valdez. A lot of these Dominican, just because they're Dominican or Cuban or Haitian or something like that, doesn't mean they don't count as black. Martin Maldonado. It looks very diverse. You probably got more of a mix than anything else. You got a bunch of Japanese guys, guys from Venezuela, guys from America, guys from Dominican, Cuba, etc. I mean, come on. I'm just scrolling through and you see what's going on. Jordan Alvarez look like one of my cousins. Look like he'd be my uncle or something. What's going on, cousin? Okay, because they got dropped off first. They're somehow not really black. I don't understand how that makes a difference. Okay. And then let's go to the Philadelphia Phillies. Jose Alvarado, straight, he's a pitcher right away. Black, obviously. All right. And then let's keep on going here. Seranthony Dominguez. I mean, what are we saying? And then this guy right here is just straight Hispanic, Ranger Suarez. And really, the funny part is that I would say that out of the Hispanic guys, like this guy right here, Jean Segura or Gene Segura, a lot of these guys, like out of the Hispanic guys, you got mostly black Hispanics. It's not even just like, your regular, like I guess you would say mestizo. You got a lot of those guys in Major League Baseball too, but you got mostly like Dominicans and Cubans that are Hispanic. Okay. So, I mean, I don't really see what the problem is. I don't really get it. Baseball is very diverse, more diverse than NHL, NBA, NFL. It's the most diverse league, but somehow they're being attacked from not being diverse enough. And let's get into why this may be the case. Let's get into why there's not a lot of black Americans. First of all, every Major League Baseball team has a camp down in the Dominican, down in Cuba. It ain't the same way here in the States, as far as I know. And if I'm wrong about that, y'all let me know in the comments below. Do they have camps in Cuba? I don't know about that. The communist regime. I remember my man Yasiel Puig had to escape Cuba to come play for America, but that's a different story. Anyway, you have a lot of investment down in these parts of the world, but also there's a high interest to go play baseball. A lot of guys, when they go to school, they'll just be out there all day playing baseball because they're trying to escape that grinding poverty. They're trying to escape that grinding poverty, so they'll play baseball all day long, okay? Basketball is not really a thing that they do down there. Football, not really a thing they do down there. Baseball, yeah, let's do it. They got plenty of countryside. Everybody's pretty much wanting to play, so they'll go out there and they'll do that. Now, as far as black Americans, you got to understand, especially me, like I'm a tall guy. I'm not necessarily super athletic. I got athletic family members. They do that. They're the basketball players and whatnot. I was a bookworm, but I can play basketball a little bit. I love basketball. I'm 6'3". I can get out there and shoot a little bit right now. Basketball is my favorite sport. Followed right by football. Like if it's a football game on, I'll watch it, but that's not really my passion. People talking about, hey, you're going to watch Tennessee Volunteers? Yeah, I mean, I might go to a game, but really, can we go to an NBA game or even a great college basketball game? Let's do that all day. That's my thing. And most guys that come from my kind of environment that I grew up in, a low-income black area or whatever, basketball it'd be the number one thing. And as a matter of fact, most guys you see in the NFL, black guys in the NFL, if they're not 1,000 pounds, even the big 800-pound guys, they wanted to play basketball first. Randy Moss from my original hometown, Brand, West Virginia, was a basketball player first, alongside Jason Williams, White Chocolate, who played on the Orlando Magic and whatnot. They were on the same basketball team in high school together. It was like seeing Shaq and Kobe. to a certain extent because Randy is so tall. But yeah, Brandon Moss is a basketball player. Tony Gonzalez is a basketball player. Who else? T.O. I think was a basketball player. A lot of your NFL guys wanted to play basketball, but because they didn't have the height, because if you're 6 foot, if you my size, 6'3" in the NBA, you're short. These guys 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot. If you don't have that height, then you go play football instead. Very few guys wanted to play baseball. And I remember as a kid, you were corny if you played baseball. You were kind of like made fun of. It's a cultural thing. Baseball, especially now with the fathers not really being in the house, your dad will take you to go play baseball. He'll play catch with you and stuff like that. But with basketball, all you need is a ball and a hoop. You can go out there and play by yourself. Everybody wants to play basketball and football in the black area. Baseball is not really a priority. Some black guys do want to play baseball, and they do very well, but that's not typically what we're into. We're into basketball first, football second. That's the reality. And I dare anybody to challenge that. So if we're into basketball first, football second, then how are you going to have a really high number of black Americans playing Major League Baseball? It doesn't add up. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Major League Baseball for being very diverse. I don't really care about diversity. Like if you are good at a thing, then that's it. It shouldn't really matter your race or anything like that. Because remember, it was a guy, I forget his name. Y'all know who he is. Judge not by the color of the skin, but by the content of the character. And I can extend that to say, judge not by the color of your skin, or hire not by the color of your skin, but by the performance on the baseball field. How about that? But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Is there an issue here or not? Is it the mainstream media making a mountain out of a molehill? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. The reality is that a lot of black Americans are not interested in playing Major League Baseball. They don't want to play baseball at all. They want to go outside, shoot hoops. They want to do the crazy moves. They want to do the dunks. They want to be out there flashy. That's just reality of what it is. And also, it's easier to play basketball than baseball. Much easier. All you got to have is a hoop and a net. That's it. With baseball, you got to have equipment and the field and all this and that and the third. It's just easier. It's simple. It's easier, and people like it more. Culturally, that's just what it is. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.